Shawn and Joe, another episode ready to go. They're gonna talk about the good and the trash and anything in between. Cherishing make-believe, get ready for Halloween. It's the horror show. I know you missed those guys. Tune in and find out what's on their list tonight. They butcher and dissect, take apart and mutilate. Listen to your two favorite brainiacs communicate. It's the horror show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Horror Show. The show dissects, mutilates, dismembers, and butchers all of your favorite and not so favorite horror movies and other horror-related events. I'm Shawn.
I'm Joe.
Hello, Joe.
What's going on?
Nothing. So, guys, we have a new audio setup. I think it's going to be fine, but in case it's not, that's the reason. We'll get there. But in the long run, the audio on the video is going to be better, and also on the recordings. So that's always a good thing. So we'll see what happens. We are talking, though, about Sleepaway Camp 2 today.
Part 2.
Do you remember this? Have you ever watched this?
I don't think I have. And
I have not. I liked it.
I loved it, dude.
I think it's fucking great.
It's a completely different tone than the first one. The first one is very horror, right? It's just a true slasher, true horror. This one, and I actually believe the director in this case. I know a lot of times we say this and we're like, that guy's full of shit. Like he said that afterwards. But the fact that he did this and part 3 back to back, like they filmed consecutively, he said from the beginning that this is a horror comedy. Like it's meant to be more lighthearted. And I believe him.
Oh yeah, because this actually fucking is, right? Like it's silly. Like, dude, there's some silly shit in this.
It is so meta too, in terms of the horror genre.
Yeah.
I mean, the cover, for fuck's sake, when I saw it, I was like, why is there a Freddy glove and a chainsaw and a Jason mask? And that's explained. And
yes.
They very much so reference them.
Do you remember the cover from the video store?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was so good, dude. And I when it came up online, I was like, fuck. Like, I remember that cover, but never thought anything of it.
Yeah, Cheshire Video and Disc. I can tell you exactly where it was sitting.
Or related it to Sleepaway Camp. Like, I watched Sleepaway Camp and never once was I like, oh yeah, that other cover. Like, so watching this, I was like, it was like a fucking full circle, baby, all the way back to, because I remember that cover being like, because, you know, it had everything on it. You were just like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And imagine renting it and not knowing, and then like you're like, oh wow, okay. Although this would have been killer as a kid, man. The amount of breasts in this is.
The first Sleepaway Camp has 0, and this time
they made up for lost time.
We got to make up for it within like the first 30 seconds too.
This anniversary is right around the corner of this one. It came out August 26th, 1988. So yes. I don't know how many years that is. Oh, it's almost as old as me. It's 3 years younger than me. No, yes, 3 years younger than me. So it's 34.
Sounds right.
I don't know. Or older. I don't know. Anyway, iconic cover. Renee Estevez.
Yes.
Is in it.
Emilio and Charlie's sister.
Younger sister.
Looks just like Emilio.
Oh my God.
Every scene, it's just like, that looks like Emilio wearing a wig.
It was so funny because I was like, I read that while I was watching it and I was like, I couldn't figure out who she was. First of all, there's so many fucking characters in this movie. I couldn't keep the name straight at all. So then I was like, I wonder which one she is. And then she came on screen and I was like, oh, it's Emilio right there. And then they named 2 characters Emilio and Charlie, which I thought was fucking weird.
Yeah, so the characters in this movie, if I may run through them, we have Molly, named after Molly Ringwald. We have Shawn after Sean Penn, Allie after Allie Sheedy, TC after Tom Cruise, Uncle John after John Hughes, Mayor after Mayor Winningham, Rob after Rob Lowe, Demi after Demi Moore, Leia after Leia Thompson, Brooke after Brooke Shields, Jodie after Jodie Foster, Anthony after Anthony Michael Hall, Judd after Judd Nelson, and as you mentioned, Charlie and Emilio, and then we have Phoebe after Phoebe Cates, and Diane after Diane Lane. So that is why they named them all. We get all the Brat Pack to be murdered off here.
That's fucking insane. That's actually like... I kind of fucking hate that, but like also like it, I guess. I don't know. That's fucking weird. That's really fucking weird. And then we have Pamela Springsteen, Bruce's daughter.
Yeah, Bruce's sister.
Oh, it's his sister.
Yes.
I thought it was his daughter.
No, sister.
Oh. Okay. Fair. Do you remember reading that, like, in part 4, when the original director came back, he was like, it was like, he makes no references to 2 or 3 in part 4. Do you remember reading that?
It sounds right. I don't remember reading the article.
Fun fact, she's credited in 4 through archive footage. So that means they play clips from either 2 or 3. So, okay. And by the way, these 2 movies, Pamela's last attempt at acting, she leaves the industry after these films.
Yes, she's in Fast Times at Ridgemont High as one of the cheerleaders.
Yep.
There's something else that I probably should have looked up before talking out my ass. But what's love got to do with it?
Yes.
But she would go on to be a pretty successful photographer, and Ice Cube, the Predator, she's responsible for that album cover.
Really?
Yeah.
Yep. Get the fuck out of here. I gotta look that up.
She is.
That's like fucking iconic shit, man.
Yeah, she's done a lot of album covers. She's a pretty successful photographer.
That's cool as fuck.
Also, she's not the girl on the
cover
of the movie. Yeah, she's not the one with the backpack.
I had that written down. Because I was looking at the cover one more time today, and I was like, wait, that's not even fucking her.
Nope. The ultimate story, which is so funny because you know Felicia's not back. It's a different Angela, but then the different Angela is also not the Angela on the cover. It's
not even fucking
bizarre.
Not even.
Can't believe this wasn't a smash hit. Which this getting a theatrical release
is
also
insane. Is insane. Now, real quick, or maybe not. Maybe it'll take up 30 minutes as we usually do. Before maybe we get into the meat of this, we didn't do our housekeeping stuff. Live show this Saturday on the internet doing Matt. What are we doing? The Burning. The Burning.
Say Mad Men. We should do Mad Men soon, but yeah, The Burning.
The Burning this Saturday. And September 16th, it's a Friday. I'm just going to verify that date. Sorry. September 16th at what time? 7 p.m. at the Brood in Chicago. It is
not Eastern time. Yeah, Chicago time, whatever that is.
Chicago is Eastern. Isn't it?
It's an hour behind. It's an hour behind this.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. So Central Time. 7 p.m. Central Time, September 16th. We're live at the Brood in Chicago. Come by. And I know we didn't drop all the details yet, but we're giving it all right now. What's the first detail? Well, I don't want to tell the movie first. It's free. Free to get in. Free to get in.
We said that, yeah.
Oh, we did?
Free to get in, but we'll have, it's worth repeating again, we'll have a Venmo set up for donations. If you so feel inclined, it will go towards travel costs and for us to do it again. Again, you don't have to. Free for anyone to get.
And we might have some new merch, or I'll bring some of the remaining merch that we have from our last run. If you're interested in getting some of that, you can get it there. And the big announcement is the movie we are doing, a Chicago classic. The Toast of Chicago. We are doing Child's Play 2019 version. Remake, baby. The reboot. The requel.
The only good one.
The only one worth fucking talking about. Mark Hamill coming in to play Chucky. I think it's going to be a good movie.
It's going to be fun. It's a very divisive movie. I personally thought it was great, but
I loved it.
Hated it.
I loved it. And if you don't think I'm going to bring up that fucking freak, that fucking mental patient from whatever is Killer
Seed?
POV, Shockwaves.
I thought you were talking about a character. Oh,
No.
okay, I got you.
That-
Holy shit! Now it's all coming together.
That demented dingbat. If you don't think I'm gonna roast him at this live show, you've got another thing coming. What did he give this on fucking Letterboxd? Was it like 1 star?
I think it was the one. Yeah.
And like Shocktopus has like 3.5, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing?
I forgot. You have a whole list dedicated to movies he rated higher.
I do, and they're fucking nuts. It's the ones that he rated higher are fucking crazy. Anyway, I love this movie.
That's funny.
And I am going to roast him. If you want to come to the roast for a man that won't be there, pathetic weirdo. I think I'm allowed to say this stuff now, right? Because, he's canceled. But he's back. By the way, guys, there's an arc. There's a story arc. If you're following. Anyway, enough of that. We'll talk about that in Chicago. But that's it. Child's Play 2019. I'm fucking excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be fun. Come on out, please.
Yes. Yeah, please do. And tell your friends. And we have a new website, IHateHorror.com. The merch is still not up. I'm working on it. But if you want to see us in your town, you can email places or cons or whatever and point them to our website. We now have all of our booking and management contact information on there, so they can reach out to us through there, and just send them that way. We'll take care of it. But thank you guys all for supporting us, and I'm excited for that live show. All right.
Yes, for sure.
Back to Sleepaway Camp, too. Okay.
Yes. Directed by Michael A. Simpson. Have you looked up Michael A. Simpson?
I did, but he's just a working guy.
He's fine, but I only bring him up because he directed this movie called Fast Food. And I want you to pull up the cover of Fast Food, because the plot of this is a sex drug ended up in the special sauce of a new burger joint. And the cover has none other than Ernest P. Worrell with a hamburger shoved in his fucking mouth.
Bro, what year is this?
Watch this. I don't know the year.
I'm downloading this tonight. This is insane. Bro,
I can't wait to watch this.
Wait, I've been trying to stay away from fucking visual gags because of our fucking, because we're a fucking podcast.
Sure. Yeah.
But I need to share this with everyone.
Yeah, pull up the cover.
I do. Not just the cover. Look at this fucking face, which is on the cover, by the way. It's just a blown up version of the cover. But look at this fucking face. That's psychotic.
And for those that aren't watching the video, Google. It's called Fast Food by Michael A. Simpson.
Yeah, that's mental.
Jim Varney is in it. Not as Ernest. It's a rare non-Ernest role.
Non-Ernest. All right. Well, that's a thing.
Look at that face. Because it's about a sex drug ending up in special sauce. At no point in time, being horned up or having sex or anything, are you making that face? That's ridiculous.
Unless you're Ernest P. Worrell. That's fucking incredible. That's exciting. Oh man, I love finding stuff like that. That's a gem right there.
I can't wait.
Now, we talk about the best sequels a lot, I think. Like, we always bring up Ace Ventura because it's like one of the best.
Agreed.
What about this one? This one's a pretty good fucking sequel.
Best ever? I'm not going to put it in that pantheon, but it is a fun movie, which I honestly really enjoyed. I would recommend to anyone.
You know what I thought about recently? Fuck. Because I always put Ace Ventura as as the best one. Like, it precedes the first.
Too.
You know what's another one that I never thought about until recently? Back to the Future 2.
You like it better than the first one?
I think so.
I don't think I agree.
There's less motherfucking in it.
That is true. That is why I like the first one.
Mom stuck under the bed.
Little Oedipus complex in your 80s humor? Why not? Oedipus? Is that how you say it? Oedipus?
Yeah. Stepson finds mom stuck under the mattress or whatever the fuck it is.
That and Return to Swamp Thing.
Return to Swamp Thing was fucking great. Fucking
top
tier sequels this week. So this movie takes place.
Hey, fun fact about this movie. Sorry, we're gonna get into it, but this is Chris Jericho's favorite slasher of all time. That is a direct quote. That
it's upsetting, but I'm actually kind of fine with it.
Favorite of all time. I love that fact. What a thing to be on record about.
What a thing to put your name on.
There's also no way that's true. He must have just been thinking about the first one. He's like, oh yeah, it's the second one I love. You know?
Yeah.
I saw him on The Last Drive-In. I love Chris Jericho. He's one of my favorite wrestlers ever.
Yeah.
And I love his podcast. I saw him on The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob talking about what's that fucking movie? That disgusting low budget movie, Bloodsucking Freaks. And everything he was like, this is my favorite movie of all time. And everything he was saying, Joe Bob was like correcting. He's like, that guy's been dead for years. And Jericho's like, oh no, he was emailing me like a couple of years ago. That guy's been dead since the '60s. So I think he just might get confused easily.
He's a party dude.
Yeah.
He's a party dude. He's a hardcore party dude. And I respect that about him. Well, good to know. Maybe we should get him on the show.
Yeah, after that praise I just gave him, I'm sure he'll be running to join us.
I'm sure that'll true horror fans will love to hear this guy and us somehow combined to make all the incorrect facts and assumptions about a movie. Oh yeah, totally. So this movie though, Sleepaway Camp 2, takes place 5 years after the events of Part 1. Yes. Which
now, let me ask you why, like, this is what I was trying to research and find.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't understand why anybody was like, you know what really needs a sequel is Sleepaway Camp. It was just very baffling that I know that Robert Hiltzik sold the rights. We talked about it last week. So I went to the producer of the first one. But just putting money into it and being like, we're going to not only do one, we're going to film 2 back to back because that is what the world is waiting for at this time. Because as we know, the first one wasn't even, like, it gained traction over the years.
Right. And so I was thinking the same thing. And it's like, I don't know. Like, what signs were there that this was going to be like the next big thing?
They would make their money back on that, yeah.
And like maybe they were like, maybe we just have to change it a little bit. I don't know. I probably just this producer's ego. Honestly, if he was willing to buy it from the guy that made it, like he probably had. Here's my guess. This is my guess, and it's a total fucking fabrication. My guess is they had different opinions on the way the movie should be. Clearly, because this movie's made very differently. I have a feeling he was like, this could be better. I need to give it like another shot, but my vision. And that's when it'll get big. And I think his vision was more of maybe not even comedy, but just like, yeah, typical slasher shit, right? Like boobs and blood and... So that's the only thing I could come up with is this guy was like, no, I know better than the original guy, and I'm going to make it this way, and it'll be successful. Why he does 3 at the same time?
Does 2 and 3 back to back when we know that there's a dream sequence in this one that was only filmed because they didn't reach the requirement in terms of length for a movie to have to get released, which if you have to make a throwaway dream sequence to extend your movie, maybe don't make a third sequel. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have enough material for this one.
That explains so much. I did not know that, but that scene is so fucking weird. That's like one of the weirdest things.
So, spoiler alert, there's a dream sequence of Angela having, and it's just recapping the events that we've already watched. But it's in slow motion. She's talking in slow motion. It offers nothing new. She's just like moving. That is the only reason that's in there, is to pad the movie and make it 80 minutes required.
And I had a note of it because I thought it was this other girl's dream. And I was like, oh, she's piecing together that Angela's the killer because you're watching only Angela flashbacks. And then like it was a very dark scene. And then like it
does
starts,
make more sense.
It starts, dude, it makes perfect sense. That's what you should have filmed. But instead, as the camera zooms in, you realize it's Angela dreaming this. And you're like, she's just recapping the movie for us? Like, this is insane. This movie is very weird. It is, it follows its own timeline, its own structure, right? So we have a villain who we know is Angela from the get-go.
From the get-go. Yeah.
By the way, she didn't change her name. She changed her last name.
No, she is Angela
no one
in this
knew.
one.
She's like, there was a girl named Angela. She's telling camp stories. There's a girl named Angela that killed everyone. And then you find out her name's fucking Angela, and it is Angela.
Which, I mean, you're not going to assume everybody named Angela is the Angela, but the fact that she is so fucking stupid and funny.
And that camp is like 5 miles away or something. Like, it's fucking...
right down the road, yeah.
And dude, the best part at the end was like the reveal. Because they couldn't do like, you're Angela. No, yeah, because that's her fake name and her real name. So the guy had to be like, you're Angela Baker. She's like, no, I'm Angela Johnson. Like, absurd.
And everyone's still connected. Like, everyone at the campus, the arresting officer, like the psychiatrist.
Dude, and so here's my other question, right? Like, this is like the only thing that I could figure out. Like, I don't want to say only flaw, but it's like kind of the only like thing hanging over this is Angela is bloodthirsty in this. Like,
yeah,
just a thirst to kill. What has she been doing the last 5 years? Like, not killing and just working at this camp? Because she has a relationship with the camp owner, who, by the way, goes by the name Uncle John, which is fucking psychotic.
John, yeah.
Fucking absolutely psychotic. Uncle John and her are like besties. Like, they've known each other going back forever. And I think some of the campers and the counselors even reference Angela as if they've known her several years. So it's like this weird thing. Like, what is she up to?
She was in a psych ward.
For how long? The entire
released.
5 years?
I don't think I wrote down how long she was, but I mean, regardless, she murdered several people, so it wasn't long enough. She should not have been released. And as you've already said, she's a counselor, 5 minutes. I feel like somebody should be keeping tabs on her at the very least. Some phone call check-ins maybe, and maybe not letting her get into the position where she's a counselor 5 miles down the road from where she just murdered 16 people.
And going to a camp again, like, you should not be allowed on campgrounds after that.
You shouldn't be, I don't know, was ankle bracelets not a thing in 1988? I feel like there was a better way to keep tabs of somebody.
I have no idea. It's very silly, but she's back.
I mean, the release after 6... Listen, I'm not trying to pick apart Sleepaway Camp 2, and again, I really liked it, but...
It's just a very glaring hole.
Her being free is insane. And the first ones, the aunt ruined this kid's life. They're very troubled in the head. Still, this should not have been allowed. This should not. She should not be this free, right?
No, dude, free. It's fucking psychotic.
She's a mass murderer.
She's employed. She's not even like, dude, like most people with the escaped killer routine, they're on the lam. They're not gainfully employed and fucking just using their social security number to get a fucking check and shit, like paying taxes.
Right.
Like, she has a boss that checks in with her. It's fucking insane. I also love how she gets away with it for as long as she does, which, by the way, is the entire fucking movie.
The entire movie, she's killing people. I mean, think about it. In the grand scheme of horror, when you have a killer like Michael Myers or Jason, right, I think Angela stacks up more bodies than most of them do in their own movies. She is killing nonstop. Like, everybody is being slaughtered. And every time somebody dies, which goes back to our previous, we were just saying about somebody be keeping tabs on her. People are disappearing. And after the first one, if you realize Angela's the last person with her, like, maybe somebody should be checking in, right? Yeah. Like, if you know that she's here, maybe somebody should be checking in. But every time she's just like, I sent them home. There's no follow-up.
Yo, dude, and the camp owner eventually is like, hey, you gotta stop fucking doing it. Because they sent home like 4 kids.
Yeah, at the end, there's like 6 kids left out of 50.
There's actually a point where there's no more. There's one girl, and she's like, "Where is everyone?" And Angela's like, "I sent everyone home." And that camper's like, "Oh, okay." That's actually like the scariest shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, imagine you walk into your camp and like Angela's like, "Send them all home, just you and me." Like, you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But yeah, we open up. Angela is telling scary stories in the woods. Specifically, the Camp Arawak story, and
yes,
or
and
no, she's not telling it. Someone else is telling it.
Somebody else is telling it, but I do want to highlight that the first Sleepaway Camp, very realistic because they cast kids that were 13, 14. Yes. This one has kids that range from like 9 to like 35. Some of the age gaps are so outrageous. Some of those kids that are getting spooked by this story look like they were my age. What are you doing here?
They have fucking 5 o'clock shadows.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy. Yeah, no, it's really weird. And that age gap where Joe's saying like 9 to 35, it's not supposed to be like different age campers. It's just supposed to be like the same age group. Like
the kids who play Emilio and Charlie are like Logan and Shay's age. They're so young, it's ridiculous.
So they're telling this story of the Camp Arawak, but they get cut off at the big reveal. And you're like, oh, dang it. But then they still reveal it, by the way. Like, she get interrupted and she's like, oh, okay, I gotta go. But by the way, she had a dick. And yeah. And you're like, oh, okay. This movie is very politically charged at the beginning. Very, I was curious if we were going to go that route, but it's just for this one moment.
One kid is very mad that she either got away or was the dark-haired girl on The Facts of Life. And then another kid is furious because he heard that she got a full-on sex change and the taxpayers paid for it, which, by the way, none of these kids are paying taxes.
Dude, he's a fucking camp counselor. He's like, my fucking hard-earned fucking taxes went to this sex change. Also, buddy, I don't know if you've ever gotten a fucking medical bill. The taxes ain't paying for shit. All right. I wish it's not. All right. But they're interrupted by the counselor, Angela, who is no relation to the killer. Psych, she kills a girl right here, bashes her in the head.
With a fucking log.
Cuts out her fucking tongue.
The kills in this are honestly good. And some of them are very creative.
Yes. Dude, she knocks her in the head with a log, which you're like, oh, that's dumb. But then is like, no more stories, and grabs her tongue and fucking cuts it off.
Cuts her tongue off.
Yeah. Fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's fucking amazing.
Awesome. And then the credits kick off right from here.
Yes.
And we get Paul's favorite documentary band, Anvil, playing the first song.
Oh, is that really Anvil?
It is. Yeah, it is. Straight
Remember
between
when
the eyes.
Paul was like, can you upload Anvil?
I sure do.
And then I watched it.
A documentary
like,
he's already seen.
I watched it. It was like the saddest fucking documentary I've ever seen. It was like not fun. It was not fun or funny to watch. It's funny for like 2 minutes and then you're like, oh no, like this is like kind of fucking bummer. We open to the girls and the girls' cabin where they're sleeping naked as gals do, baby. I love these movies. They're just the best. Just girls just butt ass naked. And then when some girl's like, she's like, what, you never seen tits before? And you're like, this is definitely how girls' sleepovers go.
Like I know that there's girls and like girls and guys, you feel comfortable, bearing it all in front of like close friends or whatever. Yeah. But this is a campground. You're in front of people you probably are meeting for the first time. I don't feel like
and
that's
they're supposed to be like 16 at the most. Like that's the worst period. No one wants to fucking be naked around anyone. We're all horrified of our own bodies. Fucking, she's like, check the dude. It's insane. But they notice Phoebe is missing, and Phoebe was the one that got in the very opening thing. And they immediately tell the story that Angela comes in and is like, Phoebe got sent home. Yes. That will be a recurring thing. So for whatever reason, the guy that owns the camp, again, his name is Uncle Joe.
John Hughes.
Uncle John. Yeah. We meet him. Better than the last.
We were just talking about the Swamp Thing sequel, and one of the guys is from Octopussy. Uncle John is in all of the Connery Bond films.
As what?
He is General Gogol.
Okay.
So,
sounds like a real.
His career really took off.
Do you like the Bond movies?
I love Bond.
I don't like Bond. Come on. You fucking bore. He's a fucking snoozer. He's a fucking British.
Come on.
Jerk job. Now we meet some of the counselors who just talk so much shit about everyone, including the shit sisters, as they're referred to here. I don't even know their real name because I just couldn't get over the fact that this one guy was like, "You mean the fucking shit sisters?" And you're like, that's fucking incredible. And this group of counselors is weird because
Brooke and Jody
shit. It's like shoot or something, or shut. But they're like the party girls at the camp. And it's so weird because, as we'll find out, Angela's trigger is sex and drugs. So buying full into the slasher mentality, right? And openly, like it's like a thing. Like,
like Angela herself says that.
Yeah, Angela says say no to drugs as she's killing somebody.
Quoting Nancy Reagan while killing someone.
And so that's her thing. But it's weird because the counselors are all it felt like they were like towing a line in this scene where like they wanted to be like, it was so weird because the counselors were like, listen, they were like, the shit sisters smoke marijuana. And they're all like, they're like weird about it. And like one girl's like, listen, I'm all about having a good time, but you can't do it all the time. And you're like, what? Most responsible teenagers I've ever seen. It's because they're 35, but like, hey, listen, it's a fucking Wednesday. I can't do that.
Dude, that guy TC, first off, he looks just like if you took Patrick Swayze and Uncle Joey from Full House and just morphed it into one. It's that guy. But is he supposed to be a teenager? Because he is worse than those guys in Greece that are like 40.
Dude, are you sure? The fucking guy, who's the guy?
I don't know his name, but I posted him in my story. I know exactly
that guy is
so fucking old.
Yo, he's like sweating profusely, and he's got that like, it's not like sweat like I'm active and wearing a leather jacket in the summer heat.
Old man sweat.
It's old man sweat. Just the constant like just dampness. Like around his fucking neck.
You need a kerchief at your head. Yeah.
Yes. You need to it's old man sweat. It's not anything else. Just this general dampness. It's fucking vile. That's fucking funny as fuck. Anyway, so the shit sisters, stoners, drinkers, that'll play into things later.
Yeah.
Anyway, Angela wins Camp Counselor of the Week. That's cool. And then proceeds to perform a fucking performance of the Happy Camper song.
Yes.
In its entirety, I think. Certainly felt that way. And knowing that they were short for time.
It most definitely was, yeah.
And it's also the weirdest thing because, like, the other counselor, like, it's so weird because the counselor, no one is really particularly cruel to Angela. Like, everyone is like, Angela is a fucking nightmare. But
everyone, yeah. But the staff there, they all tolerate her. Like,
yeah.
Nobody's picking on her.
No, but this scene's super weird because one guy just keeps like, but like not interrupting her. Like, he lets her perform, but at the beginning of the performance, he's like, whoa. And you're like, what the fuck was that? Like, and then she performs, and then at the end, he's like, whoa, like falls out of his chair. And it's like, it was like the most respectful, like, well, I have to wait till the performance is over. I can only heckle her before and after the performance. I would never interrupt her to heckle her.
That would be rude.
That would be rude. So it's super. That's the weirdest part. And then TC, who we meet, is the older man, and he seems to. I thought he was going to be the Paul of this movie, the crush, right? The guy that likes Angela despite her being maybe a little more closed in. Although, by the way, Angela is the fucking loudmouth in this movie. Compared the last movie, she said
the first movie, she doesn't say her first word until like an hour in. This movie, she doesn't shut the fuck up.
And so she's not that Angela, but you know, for a minute I was like, oh yeah, TC's into her, but I don't know if that was ever the case. It never really panned out that way.
No, in fact, I think TC is the only one with a brain somehow, because he's a big dumb like lug, but also the entire time, like immediately from when Phoebe disappears, he's just like, he's the only one. It's so frustrating because everything's right there for you, TC, but the entire time you could just see like the wheel almost turning, being like, wait a second, you're the last person to see all of these people. And he doesn't do it until the very fucking end when everybody is sent home. And he's like, hold your horses. Like, this doesn't add up. But every time somebody disappears, big idiot TC is almost on the case. He's just like, He like noticeably scratches his chin every time, being like, wait a minute. But he can't piece shit together.
Him and Angela, he kind of has a thing for her. He invites her to go swimming, but she's like, no. And I think they were setting up a crush, but then just forgot about it, I guess.
I mean, there's just that one time where she's like, it's him, right? She's like, I'm going to call you. And he's like, I don't have a phone. And this immediately smells his armpits, which is like such the weirdest thing. But that never comes really back in.
No, it doesn't. And again, I don't know any of these people, but you just keep getting introduced to more characters, and they just keep dying. We meet we meet a couple. I don't know, someone in Allie, and they tell the most complex backstory about this guy. Oh, I think it's Shawn. I think it's fucking Shawn. And I only know that because he's at the end. Okay, so because that's when I finally grabbed that guy's name. This guy, they're hanging out at the pool like two new lovers do.
Shawn and Molly.
Yeah, Shawn and Molly. Okay.
That's Emilio's sister.
He tells the most complex backstory I've ever heard for a character in my entire fucking life. And this is them just hanging, she's on the towel by the pool. He gets out of the pool and is like, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, lays there. And then she's like, what is your life like? And then he's like, well, my dad skipped town. He's a cop. All this shit happens. My mom married a fucking foot doctor, if you can believe that. And it's just like the most insane backstory I've ever heard for nothing. For no reason.
Spoiler alert, we'll talk more in depth about it. They build this guy up and give him such character development. This guy, he's done in with ease at the end, and it means nothing. This guy is not a final character.
It means absolutely nothing. He's not a final character. He makes it to the end, but for no reason.
For no reason. He's immediately subdued and killed.
There's 19 cast members in this. He's only last shit because of luck. The fuck? It's insane. This also gives us.
This scene is kind of important because they are setting up Molly as the virgin final girl. Molly is the good girl. She has the crush on this guy. We have the antagonist girl. Is that Allie? Is it Allie? Is that her name?
Yeah, I think so.
The one who always has her tits out, and she's pretty much trying to steal Shawn away.
Yeah.
So this scene really just sets up that she's like the innocent one, and she's probably going to be the last one.
Right. And she actually bonds with Angela over that.
She does. And this movie is really big on the slasher tropes, so it's important that they do that.
Yep. This scene is also actually very important because of the most bizarrely crammed in wet t-shirt scene I think I've ever seen. Where that girl,
the two of them are talking, and that girl's
just sitting there with a shirt on over her bikini, and then takes off her bra for no reason, and no one's doing anything. Her and her boyfriend are just sitting there, and she's like, "You better not throw me in." And then he's like, "Okay," and then throws her in. Okay. Why? What? What? The fuck?
Do you remember when wet t-shirt contests were like a norm for that brief window of town? A brief window of time.
Yeah, no, it's so fucking weird.
And it was weird because we like watched the rise and fall of it. Because when I went to college at Eastern, 2003, 2004, that local bar would be like wet t-shirt contest Sunday at 10 a.m. Like, who's going to that? Who's going to that? And then it just disappeared. It was never a thing again.
Yeah, because the town that your college was in, 10 a.m. at a bar is, dude, I mean, any time in that town was like junkie fucking central at the fucking bar.
Home. Yeah.
Fucking insane. You wet t-shirt contest there, that's not good. That's something bad happened.
For like a cash prize of $500, you're definitely getting mugged on the way home.
Dude, a wet t-shirt. I'm going to make a documentary, The Rise and Fall of Wet T-Shirt Contest.
Yeah, let's do it.
And mud wrestling. What the fuck was mud wrestling?
Dude, what a nightmare, like, for your establishment, right? You have to bring that in and then clean it up.
And who was like, maybe this is because just no internet porn, but like, who was like, I need to see women.
I think we just saved ourselves the documentary. I think that's a pretty open and shut case.
We gotta watch these girls roll in mud because I don't have the internet. It's so fucking weird. The best is in these old 80s movies when like guys, like, it's always in like cop movies, they like go into like an establishment and there's like mud wrestling in the back and like everyone's like, yeah! And even the characters are always like, oh baby, like, you're like, what the fuck?
Like, even this movie, it has a panty raid. Like, why was that a thing?
Dude, I want to talk more about that. Panty raid, and here, dude, wait, where are my notes on the fucking panty raid? The panty raid is fucking nuts. We'll talk about it when we get there, I guess. But
they do have equal opportunity here, because there's also a jockstrap raid, which both things collecting used is fucking weird.
Where's my panty raid? Fuck, where are my panty raid notes at? I'm so sad. Anyway, we'll talk about it. So after that pool scene, for whatever reason, Angela is walking around the woods, catches the shit sisters. Now, the more I'm reading my notes, the more I'm like, oh, they were stretching time. Because like, there's so many weird scenes where it's like, she catches them in the woods, right? Alone.
She lets them go.
She leaves and then goes up to TC and is like, have you seen the shit sisters? And then he's like, no. And she's like, okay. And then cut to her burning them alive. She goes back. She catches them smoking weed and drinking. Mm-hmm.
And she's just kind of like peeping behind a tree. Right. And she leaves, like you said. As she goes back, and she catches them with having sex with, or at least one of them having sex with a guy.
Yes. And then she's
so she chases the boy off, and then Brooke, I think it is, wakes up on a grill, like on top of a grill.
A grill.
That she's about to be burned alive. And fucking Angela props up Brooke's charred. She burnt her to a crisp. There is no skin left. She's just absolutely charred. Her sister right in front of Brooke. And I love this. I absolutely love this scene.
And by the way, there is consistency here. Angela loves propping dead people up in position.
Yes.
That does not stop. So props to her. Also, basically two witnesses to this crime. She goes up to TC and is like, have you seen the shit sisters? And he's like, no, not for a while. And she's like, okay, gotta go. And walks into the woods. So TC would be like, that's weird. And then this guy that she chases off, right? Like,
yes.
Wouldn't these two be like, wouldn't somebody be like, where are the shit sisters? And then like these two guys be like, well, Angela, like.
Angela saw him. Yeah. But again, that is kind of what happens, and Angela's like, I sent them home. They're fucking drinking this.
The ultimate cop-out. I sent them home. Yeah. It's fucking amazing.
And fun fact, they had to use the charred remain prop because the other actress was too young. She could not legally be on the set for the murder. So,
oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And that's the scene where Angela says, "Let this be a lesson to you. Say no to drugs."
Pours gasoline all over and lights her on fire.
Cut to Angela talking to one of the campers, and this camper wants to actually go home, which she obliges. And you think she might kill her, but no, she actually just brings her to her parents' car and lets her go home, which I think is just to I think the director was like, maybe we should make one kid going home for real, so that way like not everyone is like, why are you just sending every fucking kid home? So I guess that's what that is. And again, Angela's just kind of considered the nightmare counselor. Like, everyone's just talking shit, but like very like polite shit. Just like, man, she's like such a pain in the ass. That night, the girls,
again, very polite shit. There's nothing malicious.
No.
She's just a tight ass, which you have counselors like that.
Exactly.
Abnormal. Yeah.
Yeah. And that night, at the girls' cabin, they hear some noises outside, and it's a fucking panty raid. And that dude. So I was gonna interrupt, but it was the jockstrap thing in my notes that I really wanted to talk about. But that's fine, whatever. But dude, how were panty raids ever a fucking thing? Ever? That's so fucking insane.
I honestly don't know.
Who wants that? And by the way, they're fucking clean. Like, no one's going into the hamper. They're just going into the drawer and taking the clean underwear. So like, even if you were a freak,
that's true.
Even if you were a freaky deaky,
I assume they were used.
No, like that's the other thing. Like, they're just smells like fucking Tide, man.
Just go to the store.
And you know what? Before you fucking email us and are like, actually, panty raids are a real thing. Like, the fucking email.
Well, they are. They were.
Yeah, no, I know. But like I'm saying, like the last episode, we got like fucking 4 emails being like, actually, that is real. Yeah, we know. We know skinny dipping is real. Okay, like we know people skinny dip. It's fucking ridiculous in this fucking movie. Angela, though, interrupts the panty raid, shuts it down. Which, by the way, everyone's like, there's like a moment there where everyone's like, it's just in good fun. If there's like one thing that I think you should be reprimanded for, it'd be a panty raid. Like, I'd be like, this is fucking unacceptable. You're stealing, and you're stealing fucking underwear. What the fuck are you doing? Get your fucking shit together, all right? Like, fucking relax, you fucking weirdos. But then, like, and then they get in trouble, and everyone's like, oh, man. But then, like, immediately the girls are like, we have to steal their fucking jock straps. Way fucking grosser.
Why do any of them have a jock strap? There's no contact sports here. Most people, dude, I feel like jock straps were just like a joke in the 80s. Like, people just said it. Like, fucking, they just, like, I feel like jockstrap humor. I think you might be right. I feel like there was a lot of jockstrap humor.
Dude, jockstrap humor was huge in the 80s and early 90s. Everyone loved a good jockstrap joke. But like, no one knew what
there's a kid that like puts a jockstrap on his face.
Oh yeah,
like, it might be Little Giants.
Little Giants. Yeah, dude, for sure. That's so fucking gross. It's also
biggest gag.
Dude, it's also gross because that is a man's jockstrap. Because it like covers his whole fucking mouth. And he's like, I'm Darth Vader. Some dude used jockstrap. Oh, that scene deserves some revisiting. But the girls, again, decide to do the same thing. And they actually do it. They do it right now. They go in there and fucking just start. They also start assaulting them. Like pinning them down and fucking being like, where's our fucking underwear? And then one girl's like, if you don't give us our panty back, you're going to see a lot of this. And then just fucking flashes
her boobs. Yeah. What a threat.
What a fucking threat. These guys just stole your clean underwear. Well, this is gonna put an end to this. Hey guys, if you keep doing this, you'll actually see me naked.
Give it back, or else you have to stare at this.
But Angela walks in on that, and she is not thrilled.
She's not.
She's not
actually going to drive her home. That is the threat.
And Angela's driving the flasher home, and then is like, "Hey, by the way," and then just pulls out the biggest fucking drill. with one of those like wood boring tips.
But the biggest one I've ever seen.
Yeah. And like just fucking drills the shit out of her. Which now there's a car covered in blood. I don't know where that went or whatever, but hey.
I mean, there's a lot of DNA evidence.
C'est la vie.
I'm not really sure when DNA evidence was used in full force.
DNA, fun fact, DNA was like not really a thing, dude. I read
it wasn't.
I read a big thing about the O.J. Simpson trial, and it was the first time that they tried to use DNA evidence, like with a jury, right, and be like, "This is what DNA is," and it was so new that in the O.J. Simpson trial, a professor from Connecticut, actually, I think he's from UConn. I forget his name.
Henry Lee.
Yeah, Henry Lee. I was actually at a speaking thing that he did. And he was like, yeah, they made me like explain DNA to the jury, which was like such a complicated thing to explain to people and new. And it was 2 days he had to talk to the jury, just explaining what DNA was and why it's important. And they were like, dude, the jury just fucking fell asleep. So like DNA evidence, like they were like, whatever, fuck it. Like, and they think that was like a big part of that trial was like.
It was first used in 1986.
That's crazy.
Ever used, yeah.
In a crime fashion or just like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy, man. Fucking nuts. 86. It's new shit. So.
Yeah, so it wasn't being used here.
No. So anyway, that girl's dead. And by the way, every time we cut to the camp, it's always somebody pouring red shit like all over themselves. Like cuts to the camp and there's like paint dripping on this girl's shoe. It's like it's so weird because it's like these fake red herrings when like we know who the killer is and we know every time
this movie does not need a red herring.
No, every time there's a kill, we know she shows up and it's like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
I mean, we watch the kills happen in this movie.
So watching blood drip, you're like, that's not fucking blood. They would probably show us that, and it never is. It's fucking syrup. It's paint. It's fucking insane.
Yeah.
Angela reveals she is a proud virgin to our friend Allie here, and her and Allie kind of bond over that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the boys are plotting to scare Angela. Because she's a meanie. So they're going to dress up as slasher characters. And one's Freddy and one's Jason. Freddy, the night they go to scare her, they're out in the woods. And Freddy loses his glove. Only to see a Freddy hand pop up. And he's like, oh, there's my glove. Fucking insane. And then Angela slashes his throat wide open, killing that guy. Which is fucking great. Jason is walking around the woods and he gets got by fucking Leatherface.
Yeah, chainsaw kill.
With a chainsaw. And Angela's catchphrase here is, once I start a task, I always finish it. Which I don't know what that means. I was like, dude, she said it like it was like a fucking the wittiest shit in the world. I was like, oh, cool, yeah, for sure, Angela. You and those tasks. I don't know. But she guts Jason with a chainsaw. The kills in this are really fucking cool.
They're good. Yeah.
We then cut to two people having sex in a fucking bathroom.
Now, have you ever wanted to fuck so badly? Like, I know, like, you know, in the moment, like the passion, like you're frantic. But these two, it's like that Sideshow Bob when he's stepping on rakes. They are just crashing into everything, and at one point you just have to like step back and be like, let's just like collect ourselves, like go fuck at like a sturdy place for a second.
Do either of us know what we're doing right now? Sometimes you take a step back and ask yourself, do we know how to have sex?
They don't, because that guy is on his knees and he's not, you know, there's no cunnilingus. He's trying to fuck, and they're just sliding and crashing into things.
He's on his knees and his face is in her belly button, but he's like doing the animated like cunnilingus head motions, like you're like, oh, fucking, it's her fucking belly.
Dude, her stomach. I mean, her underwear isn't even off yet. What are you doing, guy?
It's like my favorite. Dude, and she's just like smashing herself into the fucking like tile wall of the
It's the
bathroom.
most violent scene in the movie.
Dude, that's exactly what I wrote. It is like the most violent fucking thing I've ever seen. They are just smashing their own bodies into They're in a stall. Like, they've made it to a stall where like she could sit or do something. They could do a lot in there and be like steady, but instead he's just like, "Ah!" And she's like,
Like, their hands and faces are all over this disgusting community toilet.
Angela interrupts, but there is no murder here yet.
Yeah.
Kind of
Jesus,
scares him away.
They pull it off.
Yeah.
He hides in the stall.
Yeah. Meanwhile, this other girl, I don't know which one this is. Is this still Molly? Who's riding this dude in the woods? It's the most abrupt fucking sex scene I've ever seen. It cuts from that sex scene to two people having like the most passionate sex I've ever seen in my life.
It's not Molly. Molly's the virgin.
No, this is Allie.
Allie.
Yeah. Allie is like riding this fucking guy, like, and like it's like passionate. Like she's like, ah, like, and you're like, whoa, this is fucking intense. Like this is an intense sex scene. And then you think they're both they are both enjoying it. They're both like, holy shit. But then she gets off and is like, Jesus Christ. And then she stands up and goes, you don't have AIDS, do ya?
Yeah. That line. Which, asking that after the fact?
Getting, just checking. And then he goes, no. And she goes, great, see ya. And fucking bounces. When she gets to her, back to the cabin, there's a note from Shawn saying, meet me in the abandoned cabin at 5.
It's like written in crayon, too.
Dude, it's fucking insane. I'm pretty sure there's like a cartoon map on it, too.
It's like if you're right-handed writing with your left hand.
When she goes to meet Shawn, Angela's there waiting and stabs her in the back, but doesn't kill her.
Doesn't kill her. And before, I'm going to let you take the lead on describing this, but I just want to highlight, this might be one of my favorite kills I've ever seen in a horror movie, or in a movie, period.
This is fucking psychotic.
This is disgusting.
Dude.
This made my stomach turn.
Dude, this is an outhouse. She
Yes.
beats her, throws her into an outhouse.
Yeah.
Now, an outhouse, like, not a fucking even a porta potty, which is disgusting in its own right. Like, a fucking pit of shit and piss.
Pit of shit. Yes. Yeah.
She dumps this fucking girl into the fucking porta potty or the fucking outhouse hole.
The pit. Yeah, she goes
pit.
down the toilet. And she's stuffing her with a stick.
To drown her.
Yes.
And the best part is the worst part is the sound effect that they use is the like Pee Wee Herman fish tank, the fish in the fish tank, where it's like, and that's what you hear. You hear this girl gargling fucking shit and
Gargling
piss.
shit. And then not only that, she resurfaces like 4 times.
Several
She's
times.
just covered in shit and leeches and piss. It is so vile.
It's the grossest.
It's so disgusting.
Is there any worse way to fucking die?
There's not. There's not.
Not.
Being drowned in shit water.
And like you'd even rather just like even if you did drown in shit water, you'd rather it just be one plunge and that's it instead of coming up for air.
Multiple, yeah.
Just realizing you're gonna fucking choke to death on shit. Dude, I'm gonna fucking be sick. I'm gonna stop the show.
It's one of the best.
Walk out on the show right now. It's fucking insane. Oh my god. When Angela goes back to the cabin, one of the girls there reveals that she's been trying to call everyone that's gone missing.
Someone with fucking brains.
But is she? Because she's like, yeah, you want to know something?
No, because she's
weird?
confronting the one person who they know is the last person to see all of them. The one connecting dot.
She's like, I called Phoebe, and her parents said she wasn't home. And then I called this girl, and her parents said she wasn't home. And then I called this girl, and this is the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
She even says, I'm pretty sure she's like, and I think you're the last one to see them. Like, something along those lines.
Maybe you could tell them where you left them. The whole time, Angela's just pretending, like practicing killing her with different various objects in the bunk, like in the cabin, like just like pretending to smash her, like trying to find the perfect weapon, right?
Yes.
She ultimately decides on like a 3-inch piece of something. I don't even know what it is. And she just like fucking strangles her to death with it. The worst weapon you could have chosen. And she goes, you know something? You talk too much. And then fucking strangles her to death.
Yeah.
There's 25 minutes left in this movie, and not a single person knows what the fuck is happening or is nervous or is even like, have you noticed there's like no kids here anymore?
Now, let me ask you something and give me a serious answer. Would you? 'Cause I don't think I would. I was so oblivious to like everything at that age.
No,
If everyone was,
I'd be like, something's fucking off, man. Dude, there's like so many missing people.
I don't think I would. I just
Like
like, oh,
there's 3 missing counselors. Somebody would be like,
guess I don't get sent home.
who's running this group? Yeah, you don't. You'd be survived. Camp is great. Just fucking. What was that song you were? Never mind. It wasn't even a good joke. Hey. Another girl walks into the cabin, sees that dead girl that Angela just strangled, and Angela stabs her. So you're like, oh, maybe this is finally coming to a head.
Yeah.
It's not. Angela is free to reign fucking terror in this camp. It's nuts.
But the very next day, she does get confronted by old idiot Uncle John
Yes.
and TC, who TC has finally got that wheel to turn all the way around and is like, well, no, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. 'Cause
No.
He's just like, everyone keeps disappearing and it's because Angela's sending them home.
Right.
That's
like,
what he concludes.
They're like, Angela, you're fucking breaking the bank sending these kids home. All the refunds we got to issue. They're mad that, like, there's no kids in camp. That's what they're mad about.
Yes.
They're not like,
Yes.
hey, this is fucking weird. They're just like, you fucking idiot. And even
Which
TC.
is so funny that other girl is the one that called, because why is TC not calling? He's the counselor.
Dude, TC doesn't
Call the
know what the
parents.
fuck is going on. Because even when TC goes to confront Angela, it's not because. I don't think it's because he thinks anything. I think it's because he's like, I fucking fired that idiot. And then he's like, he says, I'm going to beat the shit out of her. And you're like, oh, fuck. That's a fucking weird. But I think that's more like, hey, I fired her. Why is she hanging out with counselors at the abandoned cabin? Like, what the fuck is that about, you fucking idiot?
Yeah,
Like, I fired you. It's not even like, yeah, that fucking Angela. It's just like, I fired you. Get out of here. Scram. So this is the scene actually too where we get the Angela telling the entire story of everything we've just seen again in slow motion
The dream sequence.
with Angela's song sped down, fucking chopped and screwed, fucking happy camper.
Screw. The original DJ Screw should have been paying respect.
Well, Shawn and Molly go to talk to Angela because I don't even know. Oh, because Angela stormed out and was like, I just got fired. And then Molly follows her and gets Shawn to go with her. And it's a really fucking bizarre scene because Molly and Angela are talking. And Angela's like, yeah, I fucking drowned this kid. And Molly's like, what? But at the same time, Shawn's like, hey, where does this door go? And Angela's like, don't open that. Opens it, and all of the dead bodies are propped up.
Yes.
Like sitting and doing shit, or like artistically displayed in this abandoned cabin.
I love this universe just throws away the fact that, the Sleepaway Camp universe just throws away the fact that dead bodies stink. Because you have that many in a hot summer day in a camp house, like a cabin. Smell it from miles away.
Fucking awful. And by the way, the fucking toilet's right next to you with a fucking dead body in it. It's just fucking headache.
The ultimate smell.
Fucking shut this place down. So while that's happening, TC is like, finds out Angela and Shawn and Molly are at the abandoned thing, and he's like, I'm gonna beat the shit out of her. So he's on his way to do that, and she has Shawn and Molly tied up, in the cabin. Yeah. Not killed yet. She's just taunting them. TC comes in, and Angela just throws fucking acid in his face.
Battery acid from his own car. It was TC's own car.
Yeah, she's like, thanks for the battery. I'm like, was that a thing? Am I supposed to know that? And then Angela starts feeding them, but like saying weird shit, being like, a grown boy needs his beans. And like, what the fuck? This is just like so bizarre to like the consistency is not there, and it's fucking great. I sort of love it. It's just so chaotic. Angela is just
very chaotic.
Like, why is this happening? And by the way, she's feeding them, she's taking care of them, and then Shawn's like, hey, wait a minute, you're Angela Johnson. And she's like, no, I'm Angela Baker or whatever. I think I flipped them, but and then he's like, holy shit. And then she just decapitates him.
The cleanest decapitation of all time.
Like a gore decapitation. Like it just, the big foam head just falls off. It was insane. Angela then is like, all right, I gotta go kill somebody. And she does. Like it cuts to her just dragging a dead body back and is like, oh Jesus, like what am I gonna do with you kids? But which allows Molly to free herself. She hits Angela with a piece of wood and escapes.
Yes.
Molly gives chase. There's like a struggle for a knife. But Molly falls off of what I thought was a cliff. It's not. It is like a 4-foot drop. But
it's just a little drop. Yeah.
It's a drop. Rocks. Which, by the way, I mean, yeah, it would hurt. It would hurt. But like, you're not confident that somebody dies falling from that height.
Yeah.
You know,
especially a killer like Angela,
right?
Who's just like, well, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
I know I usually prop you guys up, but I got stuff to do. Another counselor, I don't even know who, Dana, is walking around camp. I think she's looking for Molly because she was like, when Angela was getting fired, she's like, Dana will be your counselor from now on. Walking around the camp looking for Molly, only to find kids at a window, like looking into a window, like peering into a window. And it's like, hey, what are you guys looking at? And touches them. They're fucking dead and propped up to look that way. She runs into the building to find Uncle John also propped up. And I think TC's dead in there too. Somebody else is dead in there. I don't know who the fuck. It's got to be TC. Meanwhile, cut back. Molly is alive. She survived the fall. What do you know?
Her 4-foot fall.
Well, Angela kills Dana and then starts hitchhiking. She's picked up by a nice Southern woman. I'm pretty sure this takes place in New York, but that's okay. This woman is like, I'm too dumb to drink and too fat to fuck. Which is my new fucking put it on my tombstone, baby. But that also prompts Angela to murder her in her car. And Molly is doing the Texas chainsaw, you know, run through the woods, find the main road, find a car, get home. She finds a truck, and inside is Angela, who they give the final words of the movie to. Howdy, partner. And ends with Molly screaming. This ending is funny because it sucks. Because it's such an easy ending to nail, right? Dude, because all you had to do was like suspend just a little bit of like, just a little bit. Dude, you put Angela in the truck with the Southerner. You don't need to show Angela murdering her. You cut to, you know, then Molly finding the truck and being like, oh, that woman's not dead. Oh, wait, it's Angela killed her too. But instead they just like show you the whole fucking thing. So you're like, oh. Like you see the truck and you're like, well.
Dude, they suspend your
fucking Molly
for like 2 seconds because Angela's head is like down, so it's just hair over. And then she picks up like, oh, howdy, partner.
Over overall, man, I really like it. Do you recommend
It's
it?
very fun. I definitely recommend it. It is not, if you did not catch that from the past 2 hours of us rambling, it is not in the vein of the first one, so don't go in expecting that.
Very different
It
movie.
is a fun little horror movie.
Are you going to watch part 3 on your own time?
Let's do it, man. We got to complete the series.
All right. I kind of agree. I mean, we did an episode on it once, and maybe we didn't. Maybe we just highlighted it. But
No, we highlighted it for the part 3s.
right. So I'd be interested in watching it again, especially with this different mentality. And I do want to, and you came up with this idea a long time ago, like when we kind of like
Start revisiting some.
yeah.
Dude, I thought of that. I actually meant to text you, and now this is just me talking to Shawn on the show's time. So
As we
fucking
do.
deal with it.
But that's fine.
I wanted to text you because I saw somebody had watched Wolf Cop, and I'm like, why did we watch Wolf Cop and take it serious? Because that was like really early on, and we were trying to be fucking Leonard Maltons, you know? Yeah. Like, well, dude, I want to watch Wolf Cop again because it's a wolf that's a cop, and this guy gets his dick ripped off. Like, that sounds fucking awesome. What were we on about?
Part of me wants to put the old episodes on Patreon exclusive and just leave like the new run. Like, I don't know.
Dude, that's so funny because I was talking to someone today about that. I was like, I like cringe at the thought of what I was saying on those old ones because they were saying how they started from the beginning. And shout out, I reshared it. Tyler Mills, he started from the beginning, and now is completely caught up. And Latasha did the same thing. So there's so many people that do that. Yeah, it's very odd. So I would feel bad for that. But there's so many things that we said in the first run. That makes my skin crawl.
Part of me also had this idea. Actually, it's not my idea at all. I stole it. But Kevin Smith did this, and I thought it was fucking brilliant at the time on his podcast. And I was like, that's fucking kind of genius. But now, that was before this run, this new run. It was before we stopped. And now that we have this back catalog and a different vibe this run, I was like, oh my God, we'd probably have the same reaction, which was he did like essentially what we do for watch-alongs, but with the first episode of the podcast. So he played the podcast and then would like pause it and be like, holy shit, why was I saying shit like this? Because dude, like you'd think, because he's just like a normal guy and everything he does is just very casual. You'd think that he started that way on the podcast. Dude, the original episodes are so fucking dramatic. He's like taking a drag of a cigarette into the mic. Like, dude, it's fucking insane. Like, it's fucking insane. And he's like, this is a fucking nightmare to listen to. But I was like, that would be so sick if we listened to an episode and also talked about it. Like, that would be hard.
Give me the
that would be really
heebie-jeebies, yeah.
It'd be really hard.
Shout out to everyone who's done that, that's listened to us from
in my head. I feel like I could do it, but like I if I put it on right now, I don't think I could make it very far.
I like just go to bed.
I feel like I was worse than you though.
I figured it all sucked, but here we are, 300 episodes later.
Hey guys. Yeah, no, it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird shit. But anyway, so live show Chicago, September 16th, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We will be live streaming it to Patreon people, but come on down. It is free. Oh, and on our site, IHateHorror.com, we are now on bands in town, so you can track it. RSVP to it on there. And it might help us figure out who's coming and or not who, but how many people are coming and stuff. I'm interested in see it. And if we do sell tickets, you'll be able to buy it through there. So like the Monster Mania Con in November, there's a link to buy tickets to that on our site. So all live show dates will be there. And then the online ones are just Patreon. So, but come on out, Chicago. I'm super excited. Super excited.
I'm so excited. And the people that are traveling, I can't wait to see you.
Yeah. And then next Saturday, the 27th, we are doing our online watch along with The Burning, a great summer flick. That's going to be a perfect night, man. That's going to be wonderful. I'm really excited. I wish I could set a fire in this room, but I don't think I can. I'm gonna try.
Don't do it, but it would be cool.
So come on out to that. Is that 9 that we do those at 9 p.m.? 9? Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 9 p.m. next weekend. And that's it. Facebook.com/IHateHorror, IHateHorror.com, Instagram at I Hate Horror. And Joe, where can they find you?
Instagram, Boognish1985.
Part of the bad bitch genre. All right. Thank you all so much. Joe's face. Thank you all so much. We appreciate you all. And for Joe, this is Shawn. Stay weird.
I'm not a...
Adios.
Movies all fucking day.
I'm gonna watch what I'm not supposed to.